There is a quiet shift happening in how we see men who own cats. For decades, the cultural stereotype was simple. Dog guy equals confident. Cat guy equals something else. But the research tells a completely different story. A 2025 UK survey found that 36% of male cat owners believe owning a cat improved their dating life, and 41% of Gen Z respondents said men who own cats are more attractive. But this video is not about dating optics. It is about something deeper. Psychologists have spent years studying the actual personality differences between men who gravitate toward cats and men who do not. And what they found is a specific cluster of traits that are genuinely rare. Traits most men are never taught to develop. Here are 7 of them, backed by real research, not stereotypes. Before we get into the 7 traits, here is the research foundation, so you know this is not just internet psychology. Researchers Sam Gosling and Carson Sandy at the University of Texas at Austin conducted one of the most cited studies on this topic. They found consistent personality differences across the Big 5 personality traits, the most scientifically validated framework in personality psychology. A more recent 2024 study published in the journal Anthrozoos confirmed and expanded on these findings, specifically looking at resilience and emotional patterns in dog owners versus cat owners. Now, an important scientific note. These studies show correlation, not causation. This does not mean cats make men develop these traits. It means men who already have these traits are statistically more likely to be drawn to cats as companions. The cat is not creating the personality. The personality is choosing the cat. With that scientific grounding, let's look at the 7 traits. Trait number 1, high openness to experience. This is one of the most consistently replicated findings in cat owner research. Openness to experience measures curiosity, imagination, appreciation for art and ideas, and comfort with intellectual exploration. Research has repeatedly found that cat owners score meaningfully higher on this trait compared to dog owners. Here is why this connects logically to cat ownership. A cat's personality is unpredictable by design. One moment affectionate, the next independent, the next playful. Men who score high in openness tend to be more comfortable with this kind of unpredictability. They do not need a relationship, even with a pet, to follow a fixed, predictable script. They find the complexity interesting, rather than frustrating. This same trait often shows up in how these men approach ideas, art, and other people too. Comfortable with nuance, curious about complexity, not threatened by things that do not fit into simple categories. Trait number 2, genuine independence and self-reliance. This is one of the most frequently cited differences in cat versus dog owner personality research. Cat owners consistently score higher on measures of self-reliance, meaning they are comfortable being alone, making decisions without needing group consensus, and finding internal sources of validation rather than constantly seeking external approval. This makes practical sense when you consider what a cat actually requires from an owner. A cat does not demand constant attention. A cat does not require the same external validation loop that some other relationships create. A man who chooses a cat is often a man who does not need a companion that performs constant enthusiasm at him. He is comfortable and quiet, comfortable with a relationship that does not require constant proving. This is genuinely rare. Most social conditioning pushes men toward needing visible, loud validation. Men who gravitate toward cats often have already done the internal work to not need that. Trait number 3, emotional intelligence without performance. This is where the research connects to something culturally interesting. The 2025 Mars Incorporated survey found that men who own cats are increasingly perceived as demonstrating, quote, emotional ability, non-dominating behavior, and the capacity to create safe, loving relationships. That perception did not come from nowhere. Caring for a cat requires a specific kind of emotional skill. Reading subtle body language, respecting boundaries without forcing affection, and building trust gradually, rather than demanding it. Cats do not respond to dominance or forced interaction. A man who successfully bonds with a cat has, often without realizing it, practiced patience, subtlety, and respect for another being's autonomy. This is emotional intelligence, but it is quiet emotional intelligence, not the performed kind that announces itself, the kind that shows up in small, consistent actions that another living being actually responds to. That is significantly harder to fake than people assume. Trait number 4. Comfort going against social conformity. For most of recent cultural history, dog ownership was the masculine default for men. Choosing a cat instead, particularly in environments where that choice gets noticed and sometimes mocked, requires a baseline comfort with not following the expected script. Research on openness to experience specifically includes a component called low conventionality, meaning less need to conform to traditional expectations simply because they are traditional. Men who choose cats, especially in social circles where that choice stands out, are demonstrating this trait in a small but consistent daily way. It is a quiet form of authenticity, not rebellion for its own sake. Simply choosing what genuinely fits your life and personality over what fits a cultural script. That kind of low-key authenticity is rarer than people think, because most social behavior is shaped by exactly the conformity pressure these men are demonstrating resistance to. Trait number 5, and this one requires careful explanation because the research term is often misunderstood. Several studies have found that cat owners score somewhat higher on a trait called neuroticism. Now, that word sounds negative. In psychology, it simply means a greater tendency to experience and process a fuller range of emotions, including difficult ones. Here is the important nuance. The research shows this trait is double-edged. In some studies, higher attachment combined with this trait was associated with emotional vulnerability. But many men who score here are not unstable. They are simply more emotionally aware, more attuned to their internal states, than men who are taught to suppress that awareness entirely. A cat does not punish emotional complexity. A cat does not need you to perform stoicism to be loved. For men carrying real emotional depth, something many men are taught to hide rather than process, that kind of unconditional space can be genuinely valuable. The trait itself is not the strength. What these men do with it, channeling emotional depth into a caring, patient bond rather than suppressing it entirely, is the actual rare quality. Trait number 6, genuine patience for trust that has to be earned, not given. This is a practical, observable trait that comes directly from how cats form bonds. Unlike dogs, who often offer immediate, enthusiastic affection to nearly anyone, cats require a different process. Trust is built incrementally, through repeated safe interactions, through respecting the cat's pace, not your own. Men who succeed at building a strong bond with a cat have, by necessity, practiced a specific kind of patience. The ability to keep showing up consistently, without immediate reward, without demanding affection on your own timeline. This translates directly into how these men tend to approach other relationships. Comfortable with slow building trust, not requiring instant emotional payoff to keep investing. Understanding that real bonds are built through consistency, not intensity. In a culture of instant gratification, this kind of patience is becoming a genuinely rare skill.